I remember the very first time I went water skiing. I mean, the very first time. I was probably 12 years old, and I tried to get up on the water skis behind that old boat, but it was an old partial tri-hull with a 60 horse Mercury motor, and it just couldn't get my fat self out of the water. We tried and we tried and we tried. And I don't know, honestly, if it was the lack of the power of the motor or the lack of the skill of the skier or something entirely different. All I know is that I tried to get up for probably 3 hours. I was almost in tears and never did get myself up on the skis on top of the water. It never happened. Well, not that summer anyway.
Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast. 5-minute videos, 5 days a week.
I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. Maybe you've had that moment in your life where you realize that all of your effort seems to be going in the wrong direction. It doesn't matter how much you try to focus on the thing that you're doing. It's like all your effort just kind of leans one way. And if you've ever actually gotten up on water skis or snow skis or a snowboard or even a skateboard, what you realize is that as your momentum goes one way, your body tends to resist it. It happens on motorcycles too, and I've been riding motorcycles for, a long time, almost 40 years. And as I think about being on a motorcycle, it's a natural tendency until you're used to riding to go into a curve, and as the bike leans into the curve, you try to keep your body straight, but not realizing you're pushing the centrifugal force or the center of gravity toward the ground rather than following the lean and letting the tires hold it. And so often it's easy to get caught up in that resistance, the distraction of the curve rather than following the curve and letting it happen. But you see, for leaders, what happens is we tend to lose sight of the down the road, the line. See, when I tried to get up on water skis, part of my problem was I would lean too far, I'd lean too far back, or I'd lean to the right, or I'd lean to the left. My arms weren't straight enough, or my arms weren't in enough, and all of those distractions, all of those changes prevented simply going with the flow, getting up on my skis and moving in the direction of the boat. As leaders, we tend to do that with everything from HR policies to tax policies to new pricing to all the things that are going to change in our life around the holidays, and everything that's going to change in our life when our children move out of the home, everything that's going to change our life when we sell that house and move to this new neighborhood. And all of those daily life distractions are real for every human being on earth at different levels. I mean, if you're homeless, buying and selling a house isn't an issue, but getting food for the next day might be. If you're not homeless, then where you're going to get your food for the next day, that doesn't seem like a big deal. But buying and selling a house in the right neighborhood or in the right zip code or with the right price tag, now that can become a big distraction. And those distractions often prevent us from staying the course right down the road. So what is the antidote? What is it that allows us to stay the course? What is it that gives us the ability to go in a straight direction with our organization, with our company, with the group that we're leading, without being pulled aside by the off-balance weighted things that tug at us from the left or the right or the front or the back? Well, the answer to that question is a vision. It really is a vision. I know when I ride motorcycles, especially at night, you've got to be looking down the road in Texas for these little green glowing eyes on the sides of the road, because while it can be damaging and destructive to hit a deer in a car, to hit a deer on a motorcycle could be fatal. You don't want to do that. So you've got to look far enough down the road to realize there's a deer 100 yards away or a half mile away who's thinking about jumping in the road. You've got to be ready for that. Well, it's that long-range down the road vision that gives you the ability to be prepared for that. And it's the same with your company. If your organization is looking at just today's tax issues or just today's product issues or just today's service issues, and you're not looking down the road at where will our customer service be in 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years, what are our goals, what are we trying to accomplish, then what you're going to find is each of those little distractions moves you toward solving that problem, and you take your eyes off the big goals. You take your eyes off the long-term project. You take your eyes off the vision of the organization. And at that point, you're going to find yourself in trouble. You're going to find yourself overwhelmed by the distractions. Once that vision for your organization is established, every solution, every problem, even every opportunity should be brought from the periphery into the flow of that vision and asked, honestly, does solving this problem move me closer to the vision? Does overcoming this obstacle move me closer to the vision? Does taking advantage of this opportunity move me closer to the vision? Or is it something completely different than that? Am I solving a problem that right now is a problem, but once this problem is gone, we'll never see it again? It's a one-time, one-off, it's no big deal. If that's the case, then you may want to delegate that, maybe even to a third-party outsourced company who handles problems like that. And let them deal with it so you can stay focused on your organization's goals and visions and your long-term vision. When you're not focused on that long-term vision, you can spend a lot of time. Now, if you've ever water skied, which I did finally get up on my skis, I think I was about 16 at that time, and it was behind, believe it or not, a tiny little aluminum fishing boat with a 25-horse motor. Not the big 60-horse Mercury behind the tri-hull, but an aluminum fishing boat. I got up on the skis, and I skied for probably 45 minutes off and on, 5 or 7 minutes at a time, behind this tiny little boat. What was the difference? Well, the difference was the instruction that I got from the guy driving the boat and his son who went with us to go skiing that day. We went out on this tiny little lake, and we went in back and forth and tiny circles for hours, having a blast. And every time the boat pulled me up, I went right up on my skis. And every time they drug me across the lake, I went right behind the boat. But a lot of the instruction I was getting before about keep your arms straight, not that straight, keep your legs straight, not that straight, lean forward, keep your face over your skis, I didn't get any of that. What I got was hold on to the rope, keep the rope between your skis, and your eyes on the back of the boat. That's it. Go where the boat goes. In your organization, if you're a leader and you've established a clear vision, that clear vision is like the boat. It will lead you. Sure, there are going to be all kinds of distractions and all kinds of ways you can react to what's going on around you. Lean to the right, lean to the left, lean to the back, lean to the front. You could be all over the place trying to keep yourself centered. If you simply focus on the boat, focus on the direction that you're intentionally headed, the odds are you're going to go further, faster, and the distractions are going to have less impact on you. My challenge to you as leaders is to take the time to develop a clear vision. Share that vision with everybody within your organization so that they, in their departments, in their daily tasks, and their delegations can ask the question, will overcoming this obstacle or pursuing this opportunity be in line with the long-range vision? And if it's not, how do we hand it off? How do we hand it off to a third party who can handle that opportunity or handle that obstacle without distracting the organization from the vision? I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.
Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.